Welcome to Music and You. I'm Alana, and we are going to be studying a series of lessons on Christmas music. We're starting with Silent Night, proceeding to Jingle Bells, White Christmas, and the Christmas song. Learning to play the piano is a huge accomplishment, and part of this accomplishment is being able to sit down at the piano and perform and play for ourselves, our friends, our neighbors, and share our music. The only way that I can guarantee you success and confidence in playing, whether you're a beginner or advanced, is to memorize your music and have a repertoire. Our goal is to have at least 2 Christmas songs by Thanksgiving that you can perform and play during the holidays. Now we're starting with Silent Night because it's such an easy song to learn and everyone is so familiar with this song. Okay, now let's get started memorizing Silent Night. I am going to work with you as if you were right next to me in the studio. We're going to go step by step. The first step is analyzing the music. Whether it's classical or pop, we always analyze the music. The base of every song is its chords and scales. Step one, we're going to analyze and begin practicing. First, we're going to name the scales and chords. If they don't have the chord markings like some of the classical music, then we will add them ourselves. Then we're going to look for patterns, and I'll show you what that means when we come to the music. Then step two, we're going to memorize the left hand. Now these are simple 3-note chords to start with, and then we're going to be expanding them into our arrangement. Next, let's move on to page 3. First, I have written out all of the chords, and I have checked out and played the melody. So I take the chords either in patterns or the melody in patterns, and then I sequence it and memorize it in sequences. Now here's an example. Notice measure 1 and 2 is the same as 3 and 4. So I made that a sequence. Measures 1 and 2 have C chord, C chord. Measures 3 and 4, C chord, C chord. Memorize that. Measures 1, 2, C chord, repeat, C chord, C chord. Next, the little idea between measures 5 and 8. Measure 5 is a G chord, then 7 is C chord, measure 8 is C chord. So I have 2 G chords and 2 C chords. So that's sequence B. Starting with A, I have C chord, C chord, C chord, C chord. Part B, 2 G chords, 2 C chords. Now the next pattern I've blocked off is measures 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now notice, measures 13, 14, 15, and 16 repeat that same idea. So I've blocked out C here, and then C repeats. Those chords are 2 Fs and 2 Cs. Now let's move on to part D. G chord, G chord. Memorize that. Now I have part E. It measures 19, 20, 21. There's 3 C chords. And then, of course, the ending is a 5-1, which is G to C. Now, let's move on to the next step. Page 4 is just an example of how I would write out the chords. So I just have scrap paper, and I put the chords, and I put them in these patterns so I can remember them easy. Then on page 5, I have a synopsis. You want to be able to go through the whole song in your mind, each measure, each chord, also be able to write them out, and then play them on the piano. That would be your next step. Now we've got the left hand done. In our next class, we will take that left hand and we're going to expand it into an arrangement. So page 6, memorizing the right hand. Now the right hand also has patterns, and the patterns to the melody are work together with the chords. For an example, measure 1 is C chord. C chord is C, E, G. And the melody starts on the G. That's how you'll always remember what note to start on. Then it ends on E. So you've got C, E, G chord, and the song starts on G and ends on E, and then it repeats. So you've got G, A, G, E. And you repeat it, G, A, G, E. Now you've got 4 measures already memorized. Let's go on to measure 5 and 6. Measure 5 is on G chord, and the melody starts on D, and it ends on B, so it's doing the same thing. See, measure 1 and 2, C chord, C, E, G. E is the 3rd, G is the 5. It starts on the 5, ends on the 3. The next set of chords, the G chord does the same thing. It starts on the 5 and ends on the 3. Now measure 7 and 8 is C chord, and the melody starts on C and ends on G. Now memorize that much. Then add the chords to it before you go on. Okay, now part 3, we're going to do the same thing. Measures 9 and 10 are on F chord. Now notice how the melody is a piece of the chord. It starts on A, moves up to C, and back down to A. It's just, the melody is just notes on F chord. Now go through page 6 and memorize the melody. You can memorize the melody by itself or with the chords. That's up to you. Now let's go on to page 7. Why are we memorizing and practicing this way? It is a proven fact. Dennis Waitley proved this in the 1980s and 90s Olympics program. They would take the Olympiads and put notes on them and do biofeedback and have them in their mind go through the race. And their muscles were performing exactly as they were actually doing it. Now the piano is the same way. If you practice mentally before you touch the piano, you'll make less mistakes. Every time you make a mistake when you're practicing, it's like putting a groove in your mind like you would in a recording. And you have to go over and over and over to erase it and put a new groove in. So this is very exciting. I was very fortunate my teacher helped me do this when I was very young. So working in your mind and picturing your music before you play it. You'll learn faster, you'll learn quicker, and you'll play better. Now, page 8. Go to the piano, practice your left hand chords, then practice your melody, and then put it hands together. And then in the next lesson, we're going to arrange the music, either for beginning through advanced. So you have your song memorized already in class 1. Okay, now page 9 is adding an intro. And this intro that I have written an intro using the whole tone scale. Now there's 2 whole tone scales. And I want you to think of the black notes and white notes. The first whole tone scale uses the 3 black notes, and then C, D, E are white notes. The other scale, the B, uses the 2 black notes, D flat and E flat, and then the F, G, A, B are white notes. It's very, very simple to learn this. Page 10. Now this is the introduction. On the top, the first measure, this is the whole tone scale on C. Notice how your fingers fit into those black and white notes. So easy. Practice it a little bit. Now on page 9, I have taken that scale. This is just for fun. And I have put the E chord with it. And I have made a pattern out of the overtone scale. And it is so pretty, pretty. Now notice also I've kept the pedal down. Now, how do you know what chord to play with the whole tone scale? Any note of the whole tone scale, you can play that chord. For example, C whole tone, you could play C chord, B flat, A flat, G flat, E, D chords with this scale. Then I have given you the B flat scale to practice. So this will be our introduction to Silent Night. Now this is a little more advanced rather than for you beginning students, but even the beginning students can learn B flat scale. Enjoy your first class, get it memorized, and in a few days I'll be sending you the next set of lessons with Silent Night arrangements. If you have any questions, always feel free to email, or I'm available in the mornings if you need to call. Thank you.